Hello, listeners. Welcome to the Dream Stream of Consciousness podcast. I am Yiskah Cook.
And I am Ellen Ronis.
So good to see you, Alan.
To see you as well.
Yes. So I hear that you have a string of dreams that
So,
you're wanting to look at.
yeah, I mean, so many, but obviously we can't do so many in one session. But yeah, there's two that I would love to work with that are the most recent. And
Okay.
hmm, yeah, I'm never sure whether to do the one that's most recent and then go back or start with that one and then the other.
Dreamer's choice, as Jeremy Taylor says, would say.
Okay, I'm going to start with the not the one most recent, but the one before.
Okay.
It's a couple of days ago. I'm driving a car towards the city, towards New York City. I'm on Long Island. I'm driving out of Long Island when I'm stopped by two men on a motorcycle. I was on motorcycles. I was going to push through because they didn't look like policemen or officials, but I was just going to push through the barricade. But they
Oh,
stopped
there
me.
was a barricade.
Well, it wasn't a barricade, but they were sort of like, kind of standing like on either side of the road,
Okay.
kind of. So yeah, I was going to just keep driving, but they got in front of the car and stopped me, and they said that I couldn't go any further because Long Island was shut down.
Oh.
Yeah, don't know what that meant, but it was like on a lockdown or a shutdown, I believe is the word they used, a shutdown, and everyone had to go. They sort of were guiding everyone to go to this big giant, like looked like an igloo kind of a thing, an igloo and like a little door. And that was where we were supposed to hang out and sleep there until whatever passed over, whatever was going on. And I realized that I don't have any stuff with me. Like suddenly it was like that feeling of, oh God, like what would you take in a disaster? What would you take with you, right? And I was like, suddenly I had that feeling like, oh my God, I have to go back and get some stuff. So I went back to my apartment to get. First, it was feeling like I wanted to get medicine, but I don't take medicine. So I was like, I need my supplements to my medicine, my supplements and like some clothes. I just felt like I had to get some stuff. So I went back to get my stuff and um, let's see, I feel like I went back, I got some stuff, and then I went back to get something else, like something I had forgotten. And the staircase to go up to my apartment was cleverly rerouted. Like it almost looked like an Escher painting, the ups
Oh,
and
yes.
downs. So like I could go up, but I couldn't go into the apartment. I could only go back down. So it was like somebody did that to say nope, you can't go in, you got to go, you got to go back to that igloo or whatever, go back, you can't go back, you can't go back anymore.
Oh,
So Long Island is shut, but I can't go back. So it was like a kind of a feeling of being a little bit trapped. But I went to the igloo and was standing outside, like fishing through, again, this sort of fishing through clothing, which is a theme in my dream world, and got a few things to take into the igloo for like tomorrow's clothes. Um, and I realized I didn't have a sleeping bag. Oh, that's what I went back for. I went back for my sleeping bag.
mm.
I couldn't find it. So I was asking everybody in this igloo, does anyone have like extra blankets they can loan me and to make like a little nest for myself. Um, and that was that. That was that dream.
Wow.
Yeah. Yeah. So I mean I have some, just some thoughts on it, which I can
Well,
just share.
yeah. Well, can we do this in a more orderly way? Because
Sure,
this
of
is
course.
such a really interesting dream. I want to really
Yeah.
explore it. So, what would you title this dream?
Ah, Long Island no more.
Long Island No More. And how did you feel waking up from this dream?
um kind of a little agitated, a little, a little agitated, but also kind of okay. Like, I'm all right. I've got a couple of things to wear tomorrow.
Right.
There's people with me. I don't know. Somehow it was also kind of okay. I didn't have any
Okay.
whatsoever about what the future was unfolding at all. I just was like, oh, here's a disaster, and I'm alive. I'm surviving. It was like,
Yes.
the worst fear is that I don't know, whatever the fear is, the anxiety,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
but whatever was actually happening was sort of okay, somehow. Yeah.
So our reality check would be that you are from Long Island.
Long Island, and I was just there several
Oh
weeks
yes.
ago.
Yes, yes,
My family's still there, so
yes.
yeah.
So and going into New York, any any thoughts about that?
um Not, I did live in the city. I lived in
Mhm.
Manhattan. I lived in Brooklyn for a long
Mhm.
time. um
Okay.
Yeah, I didn't really get a feeling of I was going there to live there or be there, or like that there was anything
Okay.
special. It was more like leaving Long Island. That was
Yes. Yes.
that's what it felt. Yeah.
Um, okay. So do you have any thoughts on what the disaster may have been?
No, I really don't.
Okay. Well,
No
here's my
idea.
projection. This is my dream. I'm thinking it's got to be COVID somehow because that's,
I
in.
thought that too, but
Mhm.
it wasn't. It wasn't about sickness or illness somehow.
Okay. Okay. Maybe it was more environmental.
It felt more
Maybe.
like
I feel that it is actually also a projection because I'm in an igloo and we hear about the ice melting and you know
yes.
and climate change really affecting.
And also, what's interesting about an igloo is that it keeps you warm. It's ice.
Yeah,
It doesn't have a heater inside. It's
right,
just these ice blocks, and it keeps you warm,
right.
which I find so fascinating. So I don't know. Maybe there's something about creating an environment, let's say, or a living environment
Okay,
that is sustainable, that is um kind of okay in, I can't think of the right word, but like okay in a disaster, in like
yeah,
an ecological disaster, like
yes. I find it so interesting. I can't go back. I can't go back.
that's
I
that's the
did go
most.
back, but then I got kind of scolded. No, no, you can't go back. I'll make it so confusing. It's like an Escher painting. I love that. It's so
Yeah,
interesting.
it is interesting, and that was, I think, for me the most interesting part.
Yes,
The most
yes,
like, oh, right, you can't go back. You can't really go back, and
yes.
you don't. It's not like I'm thinking, well, I guess actually I am wondering, as my mother ages, I mean, she's okay and my
Yes,
siblings are out there and everything, but
yes.
you know, I do wonder, as she gets older and maybe does need help,
Mhm.
in years to come, like, will I move out there? Will I go out there more often? And maybe there's a part of me that's like, no way. I could not live on Long Island.
Yeah,
I mean, I could go out there more often to help.
that's, I think that would be allowed, but you
Yes,
cannot go back. Just in case you didn't know
my
that.
psyche is nope.
No, do
No
not pass
way.
go and do not
Do
collect
not.
$200.
And stopping me from getting out, saying, wait a minute, like, I gotta get out of here.
And if I'm the dreamer, I am driving. So that means I'm in control of what I'm going to do. But it seems like it's almost who is saying I can't go back. Like,
Right.
and I almost know about it. It makes me think of like, um, what was that movie where uh, he was living in a bubble. It was like all a big TV show, like game show kind of thing
Oh, yes.
with Jim Carrey.
Yeah, yeah,
But
I
like
forgot.
it makes me think of that. It's like, oh wait, I know. Oh yeah, I can't. I know about this, Escher, and oh okay. It's almost not surprising to dreamer in
It's
that
right, it
situation.
isn't. Yes, it's
And
almost like observation, like a witness, maybe.
it's so
Like I'm
interesting.
somehow. And I am curious about these men. Like
Right.
why did my
Oh,
psyche
right.
the men,
First,
men who were kind of not really, they weren't really policemen, they weren't
yeah,
really, just were men on motorcycles, and they were stopping, they were the ones stopping me. So,
yeah. So when I dream of a bicycle or a motorcycle, often it's about balance for me. So finding my balance, but it might be different for you. A motorcycle is like power. That's like
it's less about
masculine.
the vehicle and more about the men.
Okay. Okay, good.
Yeah.
And describe the men again.
So the men to me, interestingly, look very Long Island. Like they looked very put together, even though they were wearing sort of, I don't know, black jackets and black,
Yeah.
like set motorcycle gear kind of
Yes.
pants.
Hmm.
Maybe they were leather jackets. Or I don't remember, but like they well groomed,
Hmm.
just ironic in a way. But um, yeah, yeah,
Yeah, they don't want your kind back in Long Island. You can't go back.
no,
Keep going
kind
on.
doesn't
That's
fit.
very interesting.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
is now a good time to jump into the other dream and then also see, we'll keep working this one, but I
Yeah,
almost feel like
yes,
I want to get
totally.
to that.
Totally. Okay. Next dream, a couple days later. I'm in a giant airplane with coffee shops and stores inside it. I was going somewhere with my friend Dara, and we were sitting in a row. She was in the middle. There were two people to her left, and I'm on the aisle. And she was struggling with something, some, kind of a processing kind of thing. And then she suddenly like vomited on the people next to
Oh
her.
no.
Vomit. And I couldn't deal with it. I was like, can't deal with this at all. So I get up and I'm visiting the shops and the coffee shops and stuff, just as a way to avoid whatever was going on over there. Um, and then it seemed like a different scene, but it felt like part of the same. Um, Another piece of that was I was feeling a little anxious that I had forgotten to take my Dramamine, which I always take when I travel because I
Mm.
get motion sickness. Not sick, but I will feel queasy, if I don't
Hmm.
take it. So that's waking life. And I had forgotten to take it, but I was like, oh, I'm actually fine. I to feel totally fine, but I was really tired, and I just wanted to get back into my seat and lay down and nap while we were getting wherever we were going. But somehow I don't think I like quite made it back. That's that scene. And then the next scene, I have a backpack and I'm traveling. So it felt like the same travel, like
Yes.
something was the same travel, but I was not necessarily on a plane at this point.
Okay.
Um, and I have this backpack, and um, I realize I'm missing, like I had a little pouch, like a crossbody pouch, a very small little pouch that was holding my, I don't know, important things, money, maybe
Passport.
passport, exactly. Money and passport was very distinctive. It was definitely passport, like
Hmm.
that was in the dream. So, and I realize it's missing. That little pouch is missing. So I think I might have left it at Tim's house. So I go back to Tim's house, and he's in the middle of writing something, like working on some computer project. And he seems to be sitting very high up, like he's just higher and mightier than me, typical in a certain way. Um, and he was very like annoyed by my presence. Like, what are you doing here? And he like hands me without actually looking, like I'm looking for this pouch, but he hands me a pair of underwear. But they were beautiful, like silk, really thin silk orange with a little pattern on them, like little bike short kind of things, and nothing he would ever wear in waking life. And he just hands them to me, like, here, take these, like almost like a
Ah,
piece, whatever you want, here, take this. And
okay.
I was like, what do I do? Okay, well, they're lovely. I actually love them, but this is not what I'm looking for. Um, and so I leave, and I have this feeling that um, there's another person that I was like, oh, there's another place that I think I might have left it,
Mm.
and it was this old, like a he wasn't even a boyfriend. He was somebody I was having like a sort of affair with, but it was very fun, and he really liked me, and it was just a fun thing. This was a long time ago. This is in waking life. This is somebody that I knew, like back in the 80s. So that was a long time ago. I was young. And I go to his wherever his place, and he has the thing. He has my little pouch. And the feeling, oh, and also I noticed that my backpack was smaller and lighter. Like suddenly I was like I had less baggage.
Oh,
Well, I say it like that, less baggage. Yeah. Like my backpack was like smaller than it had been when I first started the journey. And, you know, um, the feeling was go where you're loved. Like
totally.
this guy loved me. I mean, we weren't in love. It wasn't a deep thing. It was very playful, and we just let it be that. It was very sexy and very
Yeah.
fun,
Yes.
adorable. And I know he really like respected me and liked me,
Yes.
and so it was like I didn't have that feeling with Tim. I mean, I know he respected me in some ways, but it
Right.
was, yeah, there was a lot of edginess in our
Right.
relationship.
Yes.
Yeah. So that was that dream.
That's beautiful. And I assume the title is Go Where You're Loved.
Well, sure. Let's make it that.
Is that your bumper sticker
Let's
that
make
you always
it up.
trouble creating? Go
Yeah.
Where You're Loved. I love that.
Yeah.
So
And
yeah.
I was just going to say that the beginning, the first part of the dream with my friend Dara, it almost felt prophetic because
Okay.
that I had that dream yesterday morning, and then like an hour later, she called me, and she needed to like process a lot of stuff,
Yes. Yes.
and it's kind of the way our relationship is, which is,
Yes.
yeah, it's been interestingly a struggle for me actually. That
Yeah.
I don't want to be always like dumping our shit on each other. I want to become
Exactly.
different. So, but and it's not like dumping shit. It's just like it's like a lot of process.
Yeah. It's a
There's not a
great
lot for me
metaphor.
to do. Like I'm just there listening and
Yes.
letting her process. And so that is what happened. Like she just needed to process a bunch of things, and I was just trying to
Yeah.
be there.
That's so interesting.
And it was
I'm
very helpful for her, but for me, it didn't feel good. So the vomiting, I think, felt like
exactly.
vomiting it all out. And I'm like,
That's
nah,
it.
I don't want that. I'm out of here.
Hmm. Yes. I find that really interesting
Yeah.
too. It's in a way, this dream, if I am the dreamer, it's kind of instructing me. So, like, okay, friend vomiting stuff, I don't want to be a part of that. I don't remember what you said, but whatever
Yeah.
that was, you were like, I want to be separate.
Yeah.
And say again,
Can't deal with that is how it
yeah,
felt. I couldn't
can't deal
deal
with
with it. Yeah.
and then you know, and I'm looking for now. So interesting. It's got my passport, and I'm traveling, and I kind of think I'm traveling overseas because big plane,
Mm.
airport inside of it.
Yeah, exactly. Right. It was like that. All the shots. Yeah.
So,
Well, that is interesting, actually. I didn't think of it that way, that there's actually like a little mini airport inside the plane.
yes.
So the wait for your travels is also inside.
Yeah.
Mm. That's really,
Ooh, that's very interesting.
yeah, waiting. Hmm.
Mm. And then money, of course, money makes the world go round. And quote unquote, and my passport, and that's my ticket to go anywhere, I
Passport
believe.
felt important. Just
Yeah.
the
And
passport to whatever.
similarly to the other dream, I can't go back. Well, actually, no, because I'm gonna like trip all over myself. It's not going to make sense. I was just thinking I can't go back. I can't go back to the relationship where I wasn't cherished,
Totally.
you
I think
know.
that is the connection that I did, you can't go back. I went back and it was like, oh no, he was treating me badly and he was, like, here, take this.
But if I
But it,
go further back,
right. Well, yeah, that was interesting to me too. It's like, why was I going that way? Maybe it was just because I don't have anything in the present
yes,
or in the future, like who knows what the future holds, but I don't,
right?
that's, cooking in terms of relationship or attract
Sure.
anything. So it's like it's been such a long time that I don't have any other place to go if I'm thinking about love and relationship, but back
Yes.
right now,
Yeah.
have my present or the possible
I'm in a
future.
similar place that,
Hmm.
I have to keep reminding myself you can't go back
Hmm.
because going back might be, I don't think it would be easier, but it would be more comfortable. Or like, I
Well,
don't think it would
right.
be,
If you
I don't think it would be
wouldn't
more
be.
comfortable.
No, but we do. I think we do that. We want what's familiar.
Yeah.
Human. I think in some way we
Yeah.
want what's familiar, and even though that is not where the growth happens ever, it just
No.
does. But it is interesting that I went back. So I want to just say something about that guy, the younger guy.
Yes.
That long time ago guy.
Hmm.
I don't know why. I'm just saying this just to process it out loud to see if there's something in it, if there's some information about why him. Why would I go back to him? Okay, yes, there was a fun, playful, sexy thing going on there, and that was, why not go back there?
The way he
He,
made me feel.
yeah. It turns out he became a heroin addict,
Oh.
and he sort of disappeared. And then he came back, I don't know, however long later, a year or two or something, a while later, and sort of made amends
Mhm.
because he felt like, he lied to me. He didn't tell me that that was happening. It wasn't happening while we were together, but
Okay.
we're still friends, and he didn't tell me that that was going on. Of course,
Right.
hard thing to tell someone while you're in it.
Sure.
Um, Also, he had gotten married, and I got him a wedding present. I don't remember what it was, but he sold it for heroin money. But
Mm.
so he was like confessing all of this to me,
Oh,
which was something very sweet and tender about that to me. And he
yes.
had that way. It was very earthy, very like Bayside Queens. I don't know. There was something like, hey, like Italian, like I don't know. There was something about it. It was very basic in a way, but very sweet. So I just remember that so distinctly about him.
Yes.
And I don't know what that means. Like maybe just all of those qualities of like owning up to your something you're ashamed of or something, a bad choice you made to another person who it might have hurt. That's pretty awesome.
It really is.
Maybe I'm supposed to remember that there are people like that who respect me enough,
Yes.
maybe we don't match on some intellectual level or some spiritual level, but on this
Sure.
very basic heart level,
Bayside Queens.
he's,
Well,
you know,
and I just want to remind you that, yeah, I went from carrying a big, heavy backpack. You didn't say heavy, but I'm
yeah,
extrapolating that into like a little stylish, easy to wear backpack. And so, in a way, it's not like confessing so much as freeing oneself from burden. If I feel so guilty that I
yeah.
sold something you gave me for drugs and I carry that with me, I carry that big backpack. But
Mm,
look, I can let go of the big backpack and let go of my burden.
mm, yeah. Right. So if I'm him, right? Are you saying
Mhm.
it in terms of if like it,
Yeah,
he is some part of myself
right.
that I'm letting go of some burdens. And
Yes,
maybe, yeah, I'd like to be letting go of the burden of whatever part of myself tells myself that I don't deserve to have that or
yes.
I don't deserve it. I don't
Yeah,
think,
no, dream is teaching me otherwise.
yeah,
The
it's
dream
like
didn't,
it's
dream
just,
isn't saying that.
yeah,
Dream is saying, I do deserve this and I will find this. I can find this.
And I do want to just backtrack because this wasn't about deserving, because I do feel like I deserve that. It's more
Yeah,
a matter of
right.
what I'm going to choose with
Yeah.
my whole heart, and the dream feels like it's saying, yes, this is possible. And in waking life as a reality check, I have been questioning, like, is this going to be possible for me in this life? At this
Yeah.
age, that anyone is going to know me so deeply and so, you know, intrinsically, that they could, how is that going to happen? It takes
I
years.
well, I surely hope it will. I'm
Yeah,
waiting for that too. Life is
yeah.
a journey.
And
I
maybe
was
it doesn't matter. Maybe, I mean,
yeah,
what I mean by that is maybe, my desire to be seen and known on some very deep level. Maybe it's just about allowing someone to see whatever they see and love and appreciate that.
yes.
That feels a lot lighter to me when I say that.
I was just watching on YouTube, sort of a biopic on Leonard Cohen,
Oh,
and
I saw.
you saw that. It was really good.
Oh,
So first he wrote the song Suzanne, and then only years later he met the Suzanne that he ended up
yes.
not marrying but having two children with and
Mhm.
being in partnership for I'm saying manifest, right? He's well, that's what the I think the biographer had said too. He manifested Suzanne, and I see that it seems that he did.
Yes. Yeah.
So
Did,
perhaps, if,
did he say that he felt he did too in the a
well, I
document?
don't recall him saying it, but the
Yeah.
biographer had said it.
Okay.
Um, but yeah, and it's exciting to know. I Because I believe in manifestation
Mm-hmm.
very, very much.
You think, yeah, if you think of everything as energy, right? Which
Hmm.
is like physics, it's not wooey really.
Yeah.
And your mind, whatever you think of is an energy too, and it's got a vibration, and it,
Yes.
it's breaking out into
It's
the
all
universe.
about vibration. It really is.
Like the
Frequency.
vibrations look for each other, the similar vibrations, I think
I
look
think
for that.
so. Like meets like.
Yeah. So if I'm always thinking, oh, how is that going to happen? Well, then that's what I'm going to get, is
Right.
not
You're gonna get the ambiguity and the, you know.
exactly. Yes.
So
Yeah.
right, good. So right now we have to shift it. So I'm grateful. I'm grateful that I will meet a partner that I can hang out with for the next years of my life.
Mhm.
And really try to see each other and
Yeah.
enjoy each other.
Yeah. Yeah.
So put it out there.
Yes, you're right.
Uh,
This
uh,
is possible, and that kind of person is possible. And I think what needs to shift in me is the the way I would describe my future partner. Like, I always think it needs to be more like me. He
okay.
more like me. But the truth is, I think that's not what would work the best for me.
I wouldn't want someone like me.
I am a nut. I don't
I
want somebody
wouldn't.
who's as nutty as me. No, in a good way, not in a good way, but
Sure,
I think.
sure.
But I prefer somebody who's a little more grounded, who's
Good.
a little less ADHD,
Yeah, sure.
who can sort of hold the grounding space. I mean, I have so much air in my chart.
Maybe, and that's what reminding me of the motorcycles, if that was my dream. I'm
Mhm.
finding my balance. And what does
Mm,
that mean? That means I'm not looking for me in a male form, if you're hetero or I'm
right.
I'm looking for the complement to
Hmm.
me.
Right. The compliment. Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. Exactly. And that feels so warm and fuzzy inside when I think of
Yes.
that. The person is like, oh yeah, I don't want them to be the same kind of way I think, or that,
Yeah.
nice if they could appreciate that, I do, and not try to squelch me down,
Sure.
obviously,
No,
but
well, that's not okay.
no, that's not okay.
No.
But yeah,
Either way, either
yeah,
partner. You have to lift each other up.
totally,
That's the
totally.
goal.
Just support who you are,
Yes.
allow each partner to be, and you have to be able to deal with each other's mishugas, as we say,
Yes.
as people say.
Yes. as much of our culture says now too. Yiddish has made
Right.
its way.
I know.
The
It's like,
American,
yeah, it's like schlep. Everybody knows schlep.
everybody knows schlap, everybody knows not. Well, I think everybody does know mensch. Because if
Mensch.
you call, even if you call the most Christian guy a mensch, he takes it to heart. It's
Yeah,
like a compliment. He knows
yeah,
this. It's like
totally.
upstanding. Yeah,
Yeah,
Michigas is a good one.
good.
So, well, so how can you kind of make sense of this? How can you do something in your life to kind of honor this dream or bring it forward into your living life?
Couple of things are coming to me. One has to do with my relationship with my friend Dara
Yes,
and looking at my, you know, I guess it's really about knowing myself in relationship and setting my boundaries
yes,
without self judgment because I
sure.
judge myself for, oh, I'm not compassionate enough, or she needs me to do this, and I love her very much, so I want to
Yes,
do whatever it is she needs.
yes,
But it's not necessarily the healthiest thing if
right,
I'm not taking care of myself.
right.
So I think
True.
there's something about setting healthy boundaries
Yes,
there. Um, yeah, so I'm just saying that. I don't know exactly how, but I think that's very much in my psyche right now to
yes.
about that, what that means. Um, yeah, very much about being okay with the kind of person that I am. So maybe I'm not the most compassionate. I have very little patience for a lot of things, and I have to just be okay with that.
I mean, me too. I can only have like one really needy friend
Uh
at a
huh.
time. Because if I
Hmm.
have more than one, I start feeling sapped of my own
Totally.
energy.
Totally.
And so that's not, I'm not trying to be, I don't want to be incompassionate. I don't think that's a word.
Yeah, that's
Incompassionate. I don't want to be not compassionate.
passionate.
But but I know what it makes me a better friend then if I only bite off as much as I can chew.
Well, and just to be really honest, like I can't do this right now. You
Hmm.
know, like I can't. I don't have the energetic space for this right now, so
Hmm.
I can't do it. And that's a little bit sometimes hard for me, or sometimes I get really sharp about it too. Like I
Hmm.
can ways. So I'd like to have more compassionate boundaries. I guess I'm going to say that
Hmm.
both parties
Hmm.
and in all situations. It's not just my
Sure,
relationship with her. She just happens to be my best friend. So
sure.
and by the way, she's extremely compassionate. And we also both have to set boundaries because sometimes I can pull on her
Sure.
too.
Well,
Um,
I love that you just said, well, she's my best friend. Well, yes, none of this is judging anyone.
None of this
It's about,
changes that, right? Exactly.
we need to create boundaries, just like parenting. The parent has to create the boundaries so the child
Loving.
knows how much he can push or she can
Yeah,
push. And it's similar, maybe, in friendship. I think it is.
yeah. I think it's very loving to actually set boundaries.
Yes.
It
Yeah.
works for both people. Um, so there's that, and then the thing about just kind of going where you're loved, like yeah, like
Oh, I
no
love that.
notions about the kind of person I want to be with. I don't care if they have like a college education or
Yeah.
they're super intellectual or they can, think
Right.
quickly, or it is important for me to be with somebody who has some sense of spiritual connection and
Sure.
and a sense of being able to take care of their emotional selves, which is
Yes.
not a thing with a lot of men. I hate to say that, but that's I think true. Um, but yes, so definitely has to be on that on my level in that way. But
Sure.
whatever preconceived notions I have, I can let go of that
He
and
doesn't have to play guitar.
he could though. That would
I
be
bet
fun.
he really could. I once had joined a dating site some years ago, and this is when I was recently divorced, and I or separated and I joined a dating site and they say, "What are you looking for in a man?" And I said, "Just be who you are." And I think like leaving it wide open like that, so many men wrote to me.
Right, it's a little vague.
People just felt so free to be who they are, because I didn't say must be funny, must be intelligent, must
Right,
have
and
a
what does that
graduate
even mean?
degree.
Yeah,
It didn't matter. Be who
right.
you are,
Yes.
full in yourself. And
Right.
that was the winning thing to say. So
Oh, interesting.
listeners who want to meet people on dating sites, that's a good way. Be who you are.
If you are, it'll work or it won't work.
Right, exactly.
Try to be funny because you want me to, because I think you should be funny. That's not going to work.
Right. No.
Yeah.
So, well, that's fabulous.
And
And
also
is there anything? Yeah.
the backpack being lighter, like,
Yes.
I guess I'm hoping that that is telling me that, my,
Yes.
you like less baggage, less
Yes.
baggage. Maybe,
Yes.
the thing with Tim and like I'm still working on like some part of that relationship. I
Sure.
mean, he is in the stream, but it's very clear that he's like gone. He's kind of like whatever. And so that's a very important
What about
message.
the underwear? He's giving. Does it feel like he took them off his own body and is
He
flinging them
didn't.
at
He
you?
just kind of like grabbed it from somewhere. I don't know, a pile or a drawer or something, and just,
Okay.
but it wasn't on him.
So tell me about that.
Yeah, I don't know.
Maybe I need to go out and buy beautiful new underwear and then date again.
But there's something about the underwear being like the
Yes.
foundation, I don't know, persona that you wear, the cloak that you wear, you
The sort
know,
of
like
bike
that.
shorts.
Well, they were like silk. Yeah, like they were supposedly men's, but they really were very feminine to me. There was a
Yes.
beautiful orange color with like a little pattern on it. And they were they weren't like bikini underwear. They were like
Right.
men's bike shorts, kind of short
I
men's bike
love that.
underwear, whatever they call, whatever
Yeah.
that.
And because they're bike shorts again, I'm thinking it's a metaphor of balance. I have to find my balance.
Uh,
These bike shorts, it's not this guy who I felt respected, but I never quite felt as high as I might feel
yeah,
with someone who's really honoring me, or I don't know what. I don't have the
yes,
language, but
that's about right.
yeah,
Yeah, and it is interesting. He gives me something actually very beautiful, and that actually, like, I think at some point I put them on, and I was like, "Oh, these are beautiful."
yes,
And
yeah.
maybe there's something about him like giving me the one last gift.
Oh,
Just take this. This is
yes.
like, but it's also in a weird way. It's like this weird way of, I'm busy. I'm doing some other bigger thing because I'm holier than.
Oh, no, I hear you. I hear you. But when you said that, I thought I can't be concerned with what you're doing because you have to do what you're doing. I'm somewhere else now. He's deceased. I'm somewhere else now. I cannot give you my attention. This is, but I can give you this last beautiful gift of the foundation somehow.
Wow, that's really touching.
Hmm,
Yeah, that's meaningful.
beautiful.
I think you kind of nailed that piece.
With
Yeah.
where his attention is
That's
no
like he's
longer.
if he wants to be on the high, I mean, maybe it is high in terms of I'm on another plane of existence.
Yes.
In my ordinary mind,
Sure,
my earthly mind, I'm like, oh,
sure,
he was always a little holier than thou,
sure.
you know.
Yes,
So some mixture of both, but I really really like that. That really made me almost teary. So I think
mm,
there's obviously something to that. Like he's like,
yes,
here's something beautiful. Can you accept this beautiful thing from me, like the last beautiful thing?
yeah.
You know,
The last beautiful thing.
that's like a part of me, but I want you to have it. It's something in my deeper. It's like in the foundation of my being, of
Yes,
who that I'm going to give that to you. I don't know exactly what the meaning of that is, but yeah, I like that. I like that.
Something to ponder on.
And also, there's something about the masculine and feminine balance because these underwear were very feminine, not
Yes,
feminine, but like almost androgynous or ambiguous,
yes, yes,
definitely men or women um, undergarments. So something about that too for me. I feel like
yes.
masculine, feminine balance.
Mm, yes. Is there anything else you need or want from these dreams or anything we didn't explore yet?
I think we really did a lot of yeah, we did a lot. I think we unpacked a lot in those dreams.
Yeah. Well, thank you for sharing. It's always wonderful
Thank you so much
to be
for,
on this journey with you.
yeah, thanks. Much appreciated.
And to our listeners, we say sweet dreams, Holomod Metukin.